Hello again, and welcome to Clear Skies Retirement with Jay Kirkwood at Secure Financial Management. My name is Randy Cook, and each week Jay and I sit down here and talk through some of the issues that you might be wondering about or worried about. And maybe it's time for you to sit down and talk to somebody about your retirement and actually do some math on it. And that is why we are here. Jay, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Randy. How have you been? You survived the holidays. You're into 26.
Yep. We turned the page on another calendar here, that much closer to retirement, and that's why I want to tell everybody it's time to have that conversation. We talk about it every week. It's time to do the math on your retirement, and one of the things that we're going to talk about today is how you spend in retirement. Because, Jay, the thing that everybody worries about is, I'm going to run out of money. Did I save enough? How am I going to do this? Right. And, you have maybe you're a person who has a monthly budget. You're one of those people. Good for you. Maybe you're not a person who has a monthly budget and you just spend and you've been doing fine with that.
Probably you're not.
True. All right. So how do people spend in retirement? You've heard people use that phrase, there's the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. Well, this kind of goes along with that. I'm seeing this more and more, that when you analyze how people spend in retirement, it's like a smile. You spend a lot at the beginning because you're free and you're in your best years of your life, and then you do all that stuff and the spending goes down a little bit. And then as you get into your elder years and health things start popping up, then the spending goes back up again. Is that something that you have seen? And do you actually put your planning in process to go along with the spending smile that we see here?
Yeah, the term we've used in the office is it's almost like a stair-step approach, really, right? Okay. We start off like, hey, is retirement realistic? Are we living in reality with the budget you want in retirement, with what you actually have to make that happen? If we get the box checked on that, then instead of having a linear spending, hey, we're spending $5,000 a month and we'll adjust it for inflation a little bit, that's not really how it's going to happen, or it's not how it happens for most people, frankly. What it is it's what you said. I'm 65. I've probably got 5 years left to do some serious traveling, if that's what I want. Can I still travel at 70? Yeah, but it's probably not going to be the same. It's not going to be as intense. It's not going to be as fast-paced. And then we kind of ratchet that income back a little bit because we shouldn't be spending as much after we get all that fun out of the way. And then it's not fun that's going to increase that spending later. It's, hey, I need a bit more help. I need someone to come in and help me a couple of times a week, or medical expenses. And then we might have to ramp that spending up again. Yeah,
I was fine. I was talking to a friend of mine whose dad is in his 90s. And he's still driving and still apparently doing a pretty good job. And he says, my dad wants to buy his third last car.
Yeah, I've heard that one before. It probably won't be his last either. Yeah.
So he bought a car with his 70s, and then he needed another one in his 80s. And now apparently he needs another one in his 90s. So the spending in retirement, it's going to continue on. And you got to know that. But to build your plan to go along with that spending, that's probably something that you want to sit down with Jay and do. Give him a call at Secure Financial Management. Let's talk about how you want to go about your retirement. Are you a big traveler? Fantastic. Let's do that. But if you're not, how are you going to spend in retirement? Let's figure that out together. Here's the number and here's the website. We do a no cost, no obligation look at your retirement. Basically, you call in and you say, hey, these are my concerns. I got to get these questions answered. That's really what this is about. Here's 2 ways to get in touch with Jay and the team. 210-985-6200. Again, 210-985-6200. Or use the website, which is retire210.com. Bottom of the page, you're going to find a place there where you can put some information there, and then Jay and the team will reach out to you. So you and I have talked a lot about income in retirement. One of the big places for income is going to be Social Security. Then, of course, the question is, when do you take it? And if overall, if you need it, take it. If you don't need it, wait. You'll get a bigger check. That's really been the look at that.
Doesn't
it? It's pretty easy, isn't it?
If you need it, take it.
If you need it, take it. But in the Wall Street Journal, one of the people who wrote in there said, if you have modest savings and health concerns and you don't spend a lot, take it early. If you have substantial savings, take it later. So it's almost, Jay, if you need it, take it. If you don't need it, push it off. But in many cases, the smaller check comes to the person who needs it the most. You would think that we want to give that person the biggest check. So it's very difficult for people who really need the money to push the money off. How do we come to that decision?
You sound so charitable when you say that. And I think, the world's not a charitable place, unfortunately.
Yeah.
In my opinion, people spend way too much time agonizing over whether they're going to make the right Social Security decision.
Okay.
Because we've talked about this a lot on the show, right? And this is what the reality is. You're going to know if you made the right decision at the end of your life. That's when you're going to know if you made the right decision. And you could read yourself blind almost with all the articles that are out there and all the opinions. This is what the reality of it is. The vast majority of people are going to take Social Security sometime before their full retirement age, right? If you're still working, I would encourage you as much as possible not to take it, right? Because there's other complications that come with that. But the percentage of people that are actually going to wait till their full retirement age or wait till 70, it's very small. And there's a couple things to think about it as well, right? Maybe you're 60 listening to this, you're 58 listening to this, and you're saying, "Oh, I'm definitely waiting till 70." Yeah, it's easy to say that now when you don't even have the choice, right? But as soon as 62 rolls around and it's actually available, what happens to a lot of people is, that neighbor or that friend that they had that ran marathons and was the fittest person that they know didn't wake up one morning and didn't get one Social Security check. And they're like, well, that's not going to happen to me. I'm going to get my Social Security, right? And then you look at the break evens and you say, well, if I wait till 70, I get paid back by the time I'm 82 or 81 or whatever it is. Well, yeah, but if we don't take the Social Security early, let's just say we don't take it at 62 and we're missing out on $2,500, that $2,500 has to come from somewhere, right? If it's not coming from Social Security, it's coming from our own assets. So we're draining our own assets. The calculation that was done for you telling you that you're going to break even doesn't take into consideration the growth of the investment. There's so many things going on. And don't make a silly decision. Be informed, but make the decision and move on. Don't let your retirement be ruined by the concern about you're not taking Social Security at the right time.
My wife is a couple of years older than me, and so she's getting there before I am. And she has been a hard charger, loving her job for years and years and years. And she wanted to I want 20 years, and then I'm going to retire. That was her thing, right? And now all of a sudden, more and more and more and more responsibility. She's now working 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. And she goes, I can't do this anymore.
That's rough.
And so I looked at her, I said, your full retirement age is May of 26. And she goes, really? Guess who's retiring in April?
Yeah. I thought that's where this was going.
Yep. So, that really was a big decision for her to get to her full retirement age. So it might be for you. 75% of people have filed for Social Security before their full retirement age. And the amount of people that wait till 70 is now down to about 10%, maybe even less.
Very, very small. And most of those people are working.
Yeah.
That's why they're not taking it.
Right.
It's very rare you get people in retirement and they wait till 70. It doesn't happen much.
Well, that is a decision. And as Jay said, don't make it the biggest decision of your retirement. It's an important decision, but it's one you want to make with a lot of data, with a lot of information. So let's get that going right now. Give Jay a call. Let's talk through that. Here's the website, retire210.com. If you go there, you're going to see all about secure financial management. You'll see Jay's book right there. You'll see a place down at the bottom of the page where you can say, hey, I'd like to have a meeting, or I'd like to talk about my Social Security, or I'd like to talk about my 401k, whatever it is. Let's get that going and get that conversation going. 210-985-6200 is the number. 210-985-6200. Online, it's retire210.com. Why do we call it Clear Skies Retirement? Because Jay is up there flying around in the clear skies because he's a pilot as well. Yeah, do you like wintertime flying? It's got to be clearer in the skies of it's the air has got to be clear, but it's got to be colder up there.
Yeah, winter's the best time. The air's usually a bit smoother. It depends which way you're traveling. If you're traveling out to where you are, in Atlanta. Going out there, it's great. You get a strong tailwind. Coming back, well, they've got to deal with it coming back, and it takes me twice as long to get back. But flying in Texas in summer is rough because it's so bumpy, it's so hot. You get the thermals coming up, disrupting you. But
are you watching Landman? Are you watching any of that?
Yeah, I'm a bit behind this season. They used to release it all at once. I hate it now. It's like 3 episodes, then 1. I was like, I'm going to wait until it's all out and just watch it at once.
Well, this particular season, the latest season, they're spending an awful lot of time in corporate jets. And every time they get in a corporate jet, the pilot comes up and says, we're going to have some rough air. Be ready for it. And everybody's drinking and turning green. So it's pretty fun.
I'm looking forward to that part.
Yeah, I think you'll like that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So this next story is kind of fun. In every household, when you get into wintertime, there is a little bit of a tussle between at least 2 people about the thermostat. It's too hot, it's too cold, and there's a fight. I mean, I work in a building. It's a metal building with a really high ceiling. It's basically a barn. And when it gets cold, it gets 30 degrees outside. It is cold in here. And the people are messing with the thermostat. Too hot, too cold. In retirement planning, it's I want growth, but I hate risk. You've got to have that balancing act that somebody comes in, I want return, Jay, but I don't want to take any risk. It is almost like that going back and forth with too hot, too cold. How do you deal with that one?
Yeah, the conversation's not going in the right direction when they say, hey, I'm a bit behind on my savings, so I need to grow this a lot, but I can't take any risk. I'm like, well, we're going to have some problems here, I'm afraid.
These two things do not go together.
Yeah, they don't. But this is common, especially with a couple that will come in. We'll have one that's a more aggressive investor, one that's a bit of a nervous Nelly, and then it's trying to find that sweet spot. And, this isn't possible for everybody, but for a lot of people that come and see us, we look at, hey, you've got your $1 million, you've got your $2 million in your investments. We don't have to do all or nothing, right? We've got enough here where we can do a couple of different things. And can we have something that we know is stable and it's giving us a paycheck for life or something in that manner? Yeah, maybe we can do a bit of that. If we do a bit of that, then, hey, let's have a bit of risk in the market as well, because we're not relying on those returns day in, day out to fund our retirement. We've got some flexibility. You really, in retirement, for most people, should not be all or nothing. There should be a lot of different things going on.
You're listening to Clear Skies Retirement with Jay Kirkwood at Secure Financial Management. That risk conversation is really an important one. You want to play, how much do you want to play in the market? There's only about 4 places where you can put your money, Jay. There's the bank, there's the stock market, there's the insurance company, and there's real estate. And you want to play in all those areas? Okay. How much do you want to play in each one of those areas? And if you don't like risk, okay. People probably think that when they get into retirement, they have to have money in the market because we want growth. But you could play, you kind of dip your toe in that arena too, and you don't have to be head first, do you?
Yeah, it's not a 180. Yeah, your life is changing. You're going from work life to retirement life. And very often, mentally at least, there's like a line in the ground, well, my life is changing completely. Do we have to now generate income from your investments? Are we in the distribution phase rather than the accumulation phase? Yeah, absolutely. But look, a lot of people listening to us right now, they're going to be in retirement for 20, 30 years. Like, do we have to have some growth? Yeah, we have to have some growth. Do you want to every morning be waking up and looking at what's happening to the futures market and the stock market like I do every morning? Probably not. You probably don't want that job in retirement. You need to have several different things going on.
You're listening to Clear Skies Retirement with Jay Kirkwood at Secure Financial Management. Online, it's retire210.com. And that might be one of your big questions. How much money do I want in the stock market? They tell me I should have less and less and less and less risk as I get toward retirement. But if I'm in there for 30 years, I got to have some growth. How do you balance that? Let's have that conversation. 210-985-6200. 210-985-6200 to get an appointment. Get on the calendar. Let's talk through it. Retire210.com is the website. You can do the very same thing there. There's a place for you to put some information in there, and you'll be on your way. All right, so we're going to paint a picture here. You're in your 60s now. You love your job, and then all of a sudden, it comes to an end. You thought you were going to work to 65 or 67, and all of a sudden, you are in a crisis situation, an emergency. It was AI that dumped you out. It was downsizing. It was whatever. And now, all of a sudden, you wanted to work for another 2 or 3 years, and now that's not a possibility at your current job.
That's right.
Jay, how many times do you see that? It's an emergency situation. Do you tell somebody, go put on the green smock and go work at Starbucks? Or what do you do at this point if you got like 3 years that you got to bridge?
Yeah, this is such a timely topic because we've been dealing with this more and more really over the last 18 months to 2 years. So a lot of our clients were employees of a big company in town here, USAA. A lot of them worked there for decades, right? And they're being affected by and it's not just USA. There are a lot of big companies. Every time you look at the headlines, right, this is happening. It's FedEx, it's Amazon, it's Google, it's Microsoft, it's whoever, any of the big employers. They're dealing with it. Just the environment's changing. Right, like it's what you mentioned, Randy. Like the AI side of things is upending the status quo so much, and a lot of people are being affected. And more, it's not people that are just coming to us saying, "Hey, I got that severance notice and I'm done in 60 days or 90 days." It's 55-year-olds, it's 60-year-olds coming to us that haven't done any planning, and they said, "Hey, I still have a job. I hope I keep having this job, but I want to be ready in case the unexpected, in case the worst happens and I do get that notice." Fortunately for us, the vast majority that come, they've done a great job savings, and it's not so much then about the financial. It's that, hey, they didn't want to stop working, right? Like mentally, they weren't there. They weren't ready to stop working. Financially, it's okay. What's becoming a more and more complicated issue to deal with, it's health insurance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's health insurance. So, in this example, you're 62. You had your health insurance through your job, probably.
Yep.
Well, we've got a 3-year gap there. What are we going to do? Yeah, there's Affordable Care Act options. There's a bunch of drama about that. These government shutdowns have been based on that, right? Is getting those subsidies continued. And that's really the biggest issue, is that for that 3-year gap, can we fund our health insurance, or do we have a spouse that's still working maybe that we can get on their coverage? That's going to be the issue.
Yeah, I mean, you think about COBRA, you can only do that for about 18 months. And it's aptly named because it is a bit of a snake, because it'll bite you, baby. Because, the premiums on that are going to be over $1,000 a month, aren't they, on COBRA per person?
Oh, yeah, it's kind of funny, the whole COBRA thing. Is like, oh, there's options for you. Really? Like, really, are there options?
Not good ones.
But for most people, do you just have $2,000 a month you can throw away on health? Probably not, right? So is there options? Yeah. Is it realistic? Probably not.
Right. So the healthcare thing is probably the biggest thing for somebody who's in their early 60s trying to get to 65. That's the first one. And then the other one is now you might say, okay, maybe I take my Social Security early. Maybe that's what funds
my health
the healthcare.
Premium.
Yeah. I mean, and now you're setting yourself up because you've taken your Social Security early. Now you got to live with that decision for the rest of your life, and that might not be what you had planned either. I mean, it's kind of like dominoes. It's just a ball rolling down a hill, isn't it?
Well, it's dominoes, whack-a-mole, however you want to, what one problem begets another.
Right.
I've joked with a lot of clients and retirees we have that, we have this conversation all the time about the health insurance. And I was like, you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to open a business. I'm going to hire all you guys. I'm not going to pay you anything, but I'll cover all your health insurance. I would have unlimited employees, I think.
I can't tell you how many people I've met that say, I'm still working just for healthcare.
It's for health insurance. Yeah. It's for healthcare.
That's all they're doing. And as soon as they get to 65, bam, they're done.
Boom.
And that might be where you are too. The emergency retirement is something that is a reality. I mean, if you take a look at people they have an age or they have a year that they want to retire. Maybe like my wife, I want to get 20 years in, then I'm going to retire. You have these things in your mind. Most people don't get there. And it's not because of something tragic happens.
No.
Most people don't get there, do they?
They don't. And whether it's your wife's situation where, I've had enough, or it's the changing landscape of employment in the country. And what I'd encourage everybody to do is, and we do a lot of these, is we've got people that I'm not ready to retire. Things are crazy. I don't know what's going to happen the next day I go into work. I don't know if I'm going to have a job. I hope I still do. But I'd like to have this question answered. And just because it's answered positively, hey, you're going to be fine if something happens, that doesn't mean you retire, but it's one less thing on your mind, right? Is you can go in with that confidence that, hey, if something pops up that I'm not expecting, that severance lands on my desk, and look, it's not always a bad thing, right? Because if you're in a certain demographic, it happens all the time. We have people that they're 62, they're 63, and they're like, hey, this is kind of great because I was just about to tell them I'm going to retire, and then I got this severance. So worked out really well, right? It's not always a tragedy. Yeah,
you might be one. My neighbor worked for AT&T, and every year there was a layoff, and he was wondering, is that going to happen to me? Is that going to happen to me? And sooner or later, he got the paperwork that said, here's your package. And so going into a retirement meeting and saying, I've seen this happen to my friends, and if it happens to me, let's figure that into the plan, okay? Because I don't know, but if it does, I need to be prepared for it. That's real retirement planning. Give Jay a call. Let's have that conversation. At Secure Financial Management, find Jay online at retire210.com. Pretty simple there, retire210.com. Or give Jay a call. You can reach out to them at 210-985-6200. 210-985-6200. And remember to have this podcast delivered straight to your favorite podcast platform by hitting like, follow, or the subscribe button. Thanks again for listening to Clear Skies Retirement, and we'll see you next time.
Investment advisory services offered through investment advisory representatives at Secure Financial Management, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed are not designed nor intended to be applicable to any person's individual circumstances. It should not be considered as investment advice, nor does it constitute a recommendation that anyone engage in or refrain from a particular course of action. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Secure Financial Management is licensed in your state, please contact their office. Secure Financial Management is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Wholesalers Insurance. Jay Kirkwood, Texas Insurance License number 1421850.